Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Terry.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well
On this
today.
beautiful morning in our rose garden.
In our rose garden, where the temperature's good and we're doing well,
Yeah.
and lots of new plants too.
Yes.
There's a lot of going on where St. Luke's has really been improving.
You're absolutely right, and that's why we're here today.
Yep.
So who are you, Michael?
I'm Michael McCrory. I'm president of the board. I've been an attorney in Tucson for over 40 years and in other places, and have been on the board since 2018. And Terry?
I am Terri Waldman, and I'm the executive director here at St. Luke's Home. I have been involved with St. Luke's for about 5 years on the board, and then took the director role in June of last year, 2021, and it's really an honor to be in this role. I have many years experience in senior living, and I feel like I can put all that to work here at St. Luke's. So how are we doing financially as far as the board goes? What are you thinking?
The board is really happy because we're doing very well financially. We came in $29,000 under budget. We've had a major gift during the year. We've also been able to struggle through with both COVID and the renovations that we'll be talking about later. We've managed to keep our expenses well. We kept our census up as best we could. So we're overall in pretty good shape.
And just a couple things to add to that. About 72% of all of our income goes to programs. Currently, it costs about $2,300 per elder, and we still get an average about $1,100 from each elder. So we still have to fundraise the rest of that to keep St. Luke's running. And as of now, we're looking at a sustainable future. The current census is 55, and people always ask, well, why aren't you at 64? If you have 64 rooms, and St. Luke's always has a waiting list. Well, there's a couple reasons for that right now. The COVID really put a damper on being able to admit folks, and we have been calling all those folks on our waiting list who really had to find someplace else. We also, as many of you know, with our Department of Housing restrictions, we can only take folks who are 30, 50, and 60% of the annual median income of Pima County. And most of the folks that we get are 30%, and we currently don't have any 30% rooms available. So we try to stay pretty close to what we need to have in 30, 50, and 60. The other reason, which is a really good reason, Michael, is that we are going to renovate the building. And we have decided with our construction company, Lloyd, that we will have 6 rooms open. And we will renovate those 6 rooms first. And then as we do the complete renovations of each elder room, we'll put six people in, and we'll go 6 and 6. So always for now we'll have 6 rooms available. We are working at filling those other rooms because we do have 4 rooms that we're currently working on getting elders in. We're working on 2 right now, and we will be continuing to look at those other 2. So the waiting list currently, there's about 30 folks on our waiting list. Most of them are in that 30% range. Those others we will be working on, but we keep in contact with all of them. And you know, every day we get referrals, and we know over the past year there's been over 100 people that we haven't been able to help because they've been in that 30% range. So we have some exciting things in operations, and I'd like to talk about 2 of those things. The first is that we do have a contract now with Arizona Long-Term Care Systems, which is known as Altex. And the reason we did that was really for sustainability. Most of our elders qualify for Altex because of income. Many of them do not qualify because you have to also qualify medically. But there are some that do, and they still live here. And we believe that those folks will be able to qualify for the Arizona Long-Term Care System, where the reimbursement for care is higher than the elder currently pays. That will really help with some of the lower income elders in being able to subsidize them. Our current contract is with Mercy Care, and we're really looking forward. We just got that contract this year. We're really looking forward to working with them. And some of our staffing changes, Teresa Luna, who many of you know, she is now doing elder leasing and human resources, but she's on top of that elder leasing project, and she is currently working with Mercy Care to see if there's any folks within St. Luke's that would qualify, and also looking outside so we can help more folks in the community. The second thing that we're doing is what's called a qualified contract. Michael, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
The qualified contract is a state process where St. Luke's is limited in terms of who it can have as its residents. We have a certain number at 30% of the average median income for Pima County, another number at 50%, and another number at 60%. We have to remain in those categories, and we also have to go through extensive record keeping showing that we are within those categories. The state has a process to get out of those restrictions, and that's the qualified contract. You go to the state and you technically put St. Luke's up for auction. Now, I know that sounds awful, but it actually isn't, because all we're doing is saying, does anybody want to buy it? If after a year nobody wants to buy it, then we're freed from all those restrictions. If somebody does want to buy it, we say, well, we're sorry, because we're never interested in selling St. Luke's. We're never interested in changing our mission. So we're not really intending in any way to sell it. What we do hope is that we get rid of those restrictions. What that will do in the long term is allow us to go above the current limits, still well below the average cost of assisted living in Pima County, which is between $4,000 and $5,000 a month. So we could get somebody at $3,000, $3,500 who can't get assisted living anywhere in Pima County, and yet that would subsidize the really low income people who have less than $600 available for rent. So we think if we can balance some of that, plus setting aside a certain number of rooms for all techs, we won't have to fundraise as much as we do now, and we can compensate for some of the rising increase in living costs and also in wages and staff and all the other costs, medical supplies, everything that's going up. We'll be able to handle those over the long term.
Thank you. I think just to add one thing to that is that, you know, the Land Use Restrictive Act that we entered into over 20 years ago, the tax credits were only good for 15 years. So everybody who invested in that renovation that happened in 2000 has been paid. And there's no benefit anymore to anybody to continue that Land Use Restrictive Act, which is why we've gone for the qualified contract.
And those continue for till 2040,
right,
which was an unusual situation. So yeah, for the next 10, 20 years, nothing happens that anybody's benefited. We're just limited. And plus, the record keeping's been a problem.
Right, and the other thing is that if somebody does want to purchase St. Luke's, they have to accept that LURA, which is why we know a for-profit probably will not do that, and that we're good. And we're actually 6 months in, so another 6 months, and we will see what the state says.
Yeah. Somebody, in order to buy it, if we were even willing to sell, would have to continue the limitations on rent income through 2040. So that's not likely.
Right.
The other major project we're starting is with Renovations to St. Luke's, which is now 20 years old after its construction. This started in the last several years. We've been looking at what we need to do for St. Luke's in the long term. We thought about building a new structure. We thought about a major capital campaign. As we looked into those two, we found out those were impractical at the current time. So what we settled on was we all knew that we also had to do renovations, and we've been focusing on that. We've, over the past year and a half, have been working to assess all the various aspects of the building, the plumbing, the electricity, the IT stuff, the ceilings, the floors, the bathrooms, and determine what we need to do with those. We now have a full plan. We are going to contract with Lloyd Construction, which will be the general contractor for it. We expect to get a base bid from them shortly. And the base bid will be a guaranteed maximum amount that we would pay. It will include all the things that we would really like to get done, with one major exception, and that's the kitchen that I'll get to. But everything else, and it includes upgrades to the bathrooms. We're going to redo all the floors. We're going to do painting. We're going to do the outside. Solar. We're going to add solar. Because part of the renovation is not just to make the building better, but also to reduce our maintenance costs. That'll help make us sustainable. And also to institute solar. And
we already got energy efficient windows.
We got new windows from Window
energy
Depot.
Efficient lighting, and so.
Yeah, and the solar, we think, will cut our electricity by 30% as it goes on. The one area that we've set aside from that is the kitchen. And that we're going to approach separately, because that's could be very expensive or less expensive, and we'll have to, at this point, sort of see where we go. On our campaign, we expect it to be someplace in the neighborhood of $2.5 million. We've already gotten about a third of that, so we're on our way, and we think that we will be able to do that. We're convinced we will, and that we need to, over the next 2-3 years, be able to fully renovate St. Luke's and become much more sustainable.
And thank you to those of you that have already donated to the Major Gift Campaign. And if anybody is interested in learning more, feel free to contact me.
We will be needing donations through the next 2 years.
Yes. So we have some great events this year. We've had the Baile, what a wonderful time. We've resurrected it and really feel like it's an event that we want to continue because of its history and tradition.
We changed the name a little bit. It's now the Baile de Gracias, because it's really an intent to thank our supporters, thank our donors, thank the people who've been with St. Luke's for so long. And that's what it's for, and we'll continue that in the future. But we have other events.
We're really excited about the Silver Chef this year, which will be October 22nd. And this year we are actually going to hold it at the MSA Annex. We've already got a couple sponsors, so we're looking at 300 to 400 folks coming to that, with assisted living chefs competing for that award. And it's going to be really exciting, because it's going to be part of the community this year, and you will be hearing a lot more about it in the future.
We have 2 new board members, Stacy Santa, who works for the University of Arizona in the arts program, and Kelly Rock, who works with OBGYN doing
Genesis.
Strategy.
Yes.
Genesis, doing strategy.
We're really excited about both of them, because they both have really strong development, marketing experience, and we're hoping they can help us with our events, and also reaching out to folks that will be partners with St. Luke's. And they both are young and energetic and have added a lot of fun to our meetings.
We've also lost 2 board members, and that is Nancy Nagel and Ruth Campbell, both of whom have been involved with St. Luke's for decades. And first with the Board of Visitors, with volunteering, then on the board. Nancy was our president before me. She's the one who introduced me to how to do this and got me to do this. And both of them are really just have been tremendous in terms of preserving the tie back to the history of St. Luke's, but also to bring to the board the need to just involve ourselves with St. Luke's, not just be a board that oversees it, but actually goes and participates with the various things that go on. Thanksgiving dinner serving, then the little store that we have at Christmas time, the other events,
Holiday boutique.
some of the birthday parties that board members are getting involved with that. So we also know the people at the home, and the home is part of us, and we're part of them.
Ruth and Nancy have assured us that they will stay involved with St. Luke's. They love St. Luke's. They're both very involved with the Baile and other events that we have. And I've told them both that I'm going to be calling them frequently to ask them historical questions, because they both have that historical background. We really appreciate them and know that they'll be around.
And we're letting them off the board, but we're not letting them go very far.
That's right. That's exactly right. Also, aside from the board, we have some new staff that I'd like to introduce. We have Brandy Simon, who is our finance director, and we're really excited to have Brandy. She's got a lot of great experience. She's traveled around as a military wife and had a lot of experience in a lot of different types of accounting jobs. So she's adding a lot to our team, and we're really excited to have her. We will have a new activity person starting in May, and her name is Britt Wayland. And Britt is really passionate about activities, has done this work before, and I think will bring a lot of life to our community.
And the other part of staffing is that the board approved what Terry's recommendation, that we raise their wages. We are trying to get everybody up to $15 or $16 an hour. It's going to take us a while, but it's a couple of things. One was just our gratitude after COVID, after the year of everybody being locked down. Our staff worked in one of the most dangerous environments there is around anywhere, and so they deserve to be paid commensurate to the sacrifice they and their families are making. So we needed to raise that. We've done that while still staying under our budget. And we're going to try and get it back up higher to where we can also have the best people available here at St. Luke's.
And I will add to that, our retention rate is very high. And part of that is the new education program that
I was
the
going
board,
to ask you about the
the
education
board
program.
also approved. Yeah. And we have many folks that are benefiting from that. Cass took a math class. We have a care partner, Callie, who is now a CNA and will be going to school to become a nurse and potentially a manager. And you know, we're really excited. We're hoping some of our other folks will take advantage of that program. They really like it. They like the fact that it's available.
And don't you have a staff member completing high school?
Oh yes, we do. I forgot about that. Thank you.
Because it's the entire staff
that's right.
that gets this potential educational benefit.
That's right, and whatever they need. And we hope that it will benefit St. Luke's, but it doesn't have to. We just want to make this a better world for them and for their families. So it's a really exciting program. The activity program is very robust right now. There's some exciting things happening. As you can see by our surroundings, the Garden Club has done a great job. And one of the things we forgot to talk about in the renovations was our new irrigation system. So we do have a new irrigation system, and it's really helping our roses behind us. And the Garden Club is really excited about that because they were watering a lot. So now they don't have to do that. They can focus on other things, planting. We have our 3 raised planters that they're working on, and they're really excited to do that. They go out frequently early in the morning or in the afternoon because it is warming up. So that's really exciting. You know, bingo is a very exciting time here. We have the National Charity League that comes in on Saturdays and does bingo and games. We have an event coming up from the League of Women Voters where they'll focus on any kind of changes that we have here in Arizona. We've been doing a really exciting project with the U of A.
You had candidates come out.
We did
in the past.
In the past. So that sort of is in line with keeping people understanding the political system here. Had a really exciting program from a French professor at the U of A who wants her master's students to be involved in social action. And she brought a bunch of students who had a group of elders and asked about aging and they will be coming back and doing some skits actually next week about what they learned.
In French?
It'll be in English, but her point is let's get involved with different populations,
Yeah.
and we are that. We are actually doing trips again, which is really exciting because a lot of our COVID restrictions have reduced, so we are taking people out shopping a couple times a week, and they really do like that.
The Desert Museum.
Oh, we went to the Desert Museum, and we are actually taking some folks to a U of A softball game coming up.
Which I want to go to too.
Which we will let you know about. So exciting things happening here at St. Louis. COVID restrictions. So we have been actively involved with the Pima County Health Department, who goes off of advice from the CDC and also the Arizona Department of Health Services. Many COVID restrictions have been relaxed, and we've decided to relax some of them here also at St. Luke's. We still are asking for COVID vaccines when you come to visit St. Luke's, or a negative test. If you have both either that negative test or have been vaccinated, you do not have to wear a mask at St. Luke's. Our elders are very excited because they do not have to wear masks at St. Luke's. And so we feel like at this point we've got it pretty under control, but we will continue to stay diligent. If we need to, we will put the mask restriction back. We will start testing again. But at this point, we feel like St. Luke's is free of COVID and will stay that way.
And I just want to add that we were so thankful for all that Linda Hollis did, our previous director,
Absolutely.
during the year when COVID was running rampant and there was not a single infection in St. Luke's.
And here's an exciting thing about Linda. She actually came and presented what she's doing right now at the U of A, and I've had 2 of her students already here.
Oh, good.
Meeting with myself and a group of elders, so we will continue that relationship.
And keep her involved.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd add is we did have a couple of people who've become infected since then who were vaccinated. This is going to go on. We have protocols that we put in place. But we do have to balance, and I think the CDC and Pima County and all the agencies are saying you have to balance the ability to lead your life with the prospect you may get COVID. And the best way to do that is being vaccinated and boosted.
That's right. And we are going to have our second booster clinic that our pharmacy will provide. So that's being scheduled as we speak. Another great question. How can you donate? Any way you want. You can, on the website, there is a place for donations. You can call and speak to Cass. She will gladly take a credit card. You can send a check. We do send out frequently campaigns with little envelopes. You can return those envelopes. We also, you can also donate stock. You can also remember us through bequests in your will, and that's a great way, and we've really had a lot of great folks. 3 great bequests this year. We really appreciate that. We'd like to thank Margaret McCrory, Annabelle Friedman, and especially Clark Roche, who was a superintendent.
Was a superintendent at St. Luke's.
Yeah.
We really need 2 types of donations. We need to maintain our regular donations for operations. And I know it's always less exciting to donate to operations, but that's what we got to do. We have to operate St. Luke's. At the same time, we need the additional donations for the major renovations. And that's our campaign for the $2.5 million that we're going to have them. And you can specify in how you donate, whether you want it for just general use or for the renovations.
Thank you, Michael. That's a good point. Great question from the community. How can I help if I don't want to donate money? On the website, right where it says donations, there is a place for in-kind donations, and that is if you want to donate things. It says exactly what we need. So we don't have a lot of storage space, so we really put on that website what we're needing at this time. So you can go there. We also are back to accepting volunteers, and at this point, Cass would be that point of contact until Brit starts, which would be in May. And then we really are looking for people to come and do things with elders. So you can contact us. We'd be glad to have you.
And we really want to get back to doing that. It was a major part of St. Luke's before COVID, was volunteers coming in. The Board of Visitors did that for years.
Yeah.
And one of their main functions was that. But we want people to be able to come in, but we had to exclude people during COVID. So now we sort of have to go back and recreate that structure, which we'll be working on.
Yep.
And if you want to keep in touch with us during the year, the best way is to take our newsletter, which comes out by email and can be also mailed to you as a piece of paper, or several. And so it includes all the stuff that's going on at the home, and includes my favorite column, which is Rio's column. So that will help you keep up with what's going on with St. Luke's.
So thank you all very much. We appreciate you watching this new version of the State of the Home. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to contact us. We'd be glad to answer.
And I would second that, and we are glad that you're watching this. We want everybody to remain involved in St. Luke's who has been, and we encourage all the new people to come and see what it is. The best way to learn about St. Luke's is to come and visit.
Absolutely. Thank you.